Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to do that thing we do sometimes where we sit down and go, right, what set should we be investing in? Which set should we be focusing on? And today we're going to be looking at special sets. We're going to be looking at the split set, Black Bolt and White Flare. We're going to be looking at Prismatic Evolutions. And we're going to be looking at Paldean Fates. Now, at this point, some of you might be thinking, well, hang on a second, Wassy. Those aren't the three most recent special sets. What about Shrouded Fable? Yeah, I'm leaving out Shrouded Fable because it's just going to come last. It's not that I hate Shrouded Fable. I think Shrouded Fable's a fun little set. I think if you want to try and collect a whole set, then Shrouded Fable is actually a cool one to go for because it's quite a small set and the cards aren't terribly expensive. But if we're looking at, these big fancy special sets and trying to figure out which one is the best, it's not Shrouded Fable. I'm sorry. The biggest card in Shrouded Fable at the moment is Gold Earthen Vessel at $50, and then we've got Pheasantipity at 45 and Gold Basic Darkness at like 40. And then it pretty much drops off a cliff from there. I'm not saying Shrouded Fable isn't a cool set. There's some fun things in Shrouded Fable, but put simply, it would be disingenuous to put Shrouded Fable into this competition of which of these ones are the best. It would stand no chance. I'm sorry. So let's start off with Prismatic Evolutions. This is the one that a lot of people are going to be assuming straight off the bat, this is it, this is the big set. And it has been the big set. Of all of the sets we've had in the Scarlet and Violet era, this has been the big set. It has been a gigantic set. It's got the Umbreon in, which is like $1,000 card. It's a pretty big deal. So starting off right there, you got a chance to pull $1,000 card. Maybe you go and buy a super premium collection, maybe you pull two of them. That would be weird. That happened. I still think it's weird. Go check out the video on this channel if you don't believe me. It's got 30 seconds where the audio cuts out, but I couldn't edit that bit out of the video because if I edited the video between taking the wrapper off and pulling two Umbreon in one box, nobody would believe me. So I had to just leave in the bit of me fumbling around with no audio for 30 seconds just so that people didn't call me a liar. But the fact is, it's got the biggest card in the Scarlet and Violet era by a bit of a margin in Umbreon, and it's actually got the number 2 card in Sylveon in there as well. Now, don't get me wrong, things like the Mewtwo from Destined Rivals, it gets pretty close to the Sylveon, and they are very close. They're only a few bucks apart right now. But actually right now, Sylveon is ahead. So, it's got the big, gigantic, crazy big card, but then it's also got Sylveon in there at like a $400 card, which is also pretty gosh darn big. And then if we keep going down value-wise, you've got Espeon at about 300, Leafeon at just below 300, Vaporeon at about 250, Jolteon at about 240, Glaceon at about 230, Flareon at about 200. All the evolutions are above 200, and there's 8 of them. If you're looking just for value, if you're looking for, I want the chance to pull big cards, nothing's beating Prismatic Evolutions. Let's be perfectly clear and blunt about that. If you're looking for big hits, yeah, obviously it's Prismatic Evolutions. I don't know how long it's going to be until a set beats Prismatic Evolutions for big hits, but it might be the next Eevee set. Maybe we get a bunch of Mega Evolutions coming in Legend ZA, and then we get a TCG set of it. Maybe that can beat it. Mega Eevee Heroes. Outside of that, I'm not sure. Even Roaring Moon is up at about 175 because of the Shinji Kanda artwork, and things like Cerulege are sitting there at over $100, as is Dragapult, and there's a bunch more that are around the $100-ish range. The thing is, outside of the special illustration rares, it's actually not that great of a set. Not compared to some others. I love the set on a personal level, but it really is being carried by these special illustration rares, and there are a lot of them, and you might not pull the one you actually want. You know, Gold Pikachu's gone down to like a $30 card right now. That was hanging on for a little while, but that one's gone. And obviously, playability-wise, it's largely a reprint set. We do have the Master Balls, which are kind of fun to collect, and, you know, having them and the Pokeballs coming out is quite nice, don't get me wrong. And we do have some really nice full art supporter cards. I really like the design of these ones. So, it is a cool set, don't get me wrong. It is being carried by the special illustration rares, and I've heard from too many people that have bought so many of these and not pulled a special illustration rare and felt very grumpy about that. So, look, if you're looking for value, this. No argument whatsoever. No argument. This is the big set in terms of trying to pull big cards. But it is carried by the special illustration rares. You have been warned. So what about Black Bolt and White Flare? What about this upcoming special set, the next one out? Is there any chance this can go and beat it? And the answer is, at the bat, no in terms of volume of the big fancy cards. But we do have the black and white rares of Reshiram and Zekrom. And it is not confirmed, but I've shown you my prediction for why I think the black and white rare of Victini is going to be in the set as well. That is not confirmed or official. I think the set numbers of the black and white Reshiram and Zekrom compared to Japan mean that we need to have a new secret rare that we didn't get in Japan in each of our sets, Black Bolt and White Flare, and I think one of them is going to be Victini. I did a whole video about it. I'm not just going to repeat myself here, but I do think that's happening. And then we have a big trio of cards. A very, very, very big trio of cards. If we compare them to Japan, which isn't always perfect, the black and white rares right now are above Umbreon. Both the Reshiram and the Zekrom are above Umbreon, and I would expect the Victini to be as well. Well, the Victini is, but it's a promo in Japan, so it's not really a fair comparison. So we have the chance of 3 absolutely gigantic cards, and then we've got the special illustration rares of Reshiram and Zekrom, which aren't on the level of an Umbreon, but should be on the level of a Sylveon. So we don't have the numbers here in terms of having like 8 giant cards, but we have 3 giant cards and 2 very big cards, and I honestly think you add all of that together, and at the high end, and I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying there is a genuine chance of Black Bolt and White Flare is up there with Prismatic Evolutions. Now, Prismatic Evolutions has a longer tail because it's got over 30 special illustration rares, but in terms of actually having those big marquee cards at the top, it seems like it could be up there. And like I say, it does then fall off. But we do still have the Pokeball and Master Ball, so it's going to be as fun to collect in that regard. It's got that in common with Prismatic Evolutions. And from a playability standpoint, there's a lot more cards that look like they could be good because it's not a reprint set. It is a new set. And I think, and I don't know, but I really do feel like this could be a much more fun set in that regard. And you add that all up, and I think we might have something going on here. I'm not saying it's going to be better than Prismatic Evolutions, but I'm saying they've both got Pokeball and Master Ball Hollows. This could have cards even bigger than the Umbreon on the high end. And it's got mechanically unique cards. For me, on a personal level, I'm picking Black Bolt and White Flare over Prismatic Evolutions. I think it's a better set, but I am a Gen 5 fanboy. But I do think having a set full of new Pokemon with a really good theme of Gen 5 is awesome. And I think Prismatic Evolutions has all of those special illustration rares, but outside of that, it's just not as good a set. There we go. I said it. So what about our old friend Paldean Fates? Well, look, it's a lot better than Shrouded Fable. We have that. But value-wise, not even close to the other two sets. We got the Mew, which has gone up to like 300. We got the Charizard, which is rocking there around 150-ish. We got the Gardevoir at 75, and then it just falls off a cliff after that. It's not as good. We don't have the Pokeball and Master Ball Hollows. We do have the shiny Pokemon, and there's a bunch of those that are very much worth collecting. Most of them are only worth a few quid, but we do have a bunch of shiny Pokemon, which absolutely makes the set more fun to collect, which is nice. But again, lots of these are literally worth a few quid, so there's a lot of them, and most of them are worth next to nothing, which honestly makes it a lot more fun for collectors. And again, we are talking about largely a reprint set, so playability-wise, it's not really moving a needle in that regard. So, look, I think this is a pretty distant third place behind Prismatic Evolutions and Black Bolt and White Flare. If you like the shiny Pokemon, then that massively elevates the set for you. And also, it is very much worth noting that you're going to be getting quite a few of these shiny Pokemon. They do come out with decent pull rates. So the shiny Pokemon is the argument here. But that is about it. I do think it's not the same. Put it that way. Right, I've told you all about that now, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these sets. Tell me if you believe me when I say that Black Bolt and White Flare look better than Prismatic Evolutions. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Dingus, that's the name they've given me, I'm sorry, who's been a supporter for a little while and seems lovely. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.